Keep contaminants out of our storm drains. Use waterway wisdom to remember only range going from storm drain. Join us in preserving Nevada's waters for future generations.
What's happening? Bricklayers all over the world. How we doing? Let's get the chat going. Let's get the mini monologue going. Yeah, we're feeling good. We're looking good. We're good to go. Got my Pete Carroll interview out there. People upset, Clay, that I asked them to evaluate the quarterback. People are upset with me that I didn't say, will you bench the quarterback? They're upset that I asked the coach, how's the quarterback doing? They're mad at me for that. I guess I didn't do my job.
What more can you do?
What more can you? Who was the farmer with the pitchfork? That's from Green Acres. Kenny Albert. But in the picture, in the famous photo, the farmer with the pitchfork in the famous legendary. What legendary photo was that? You know what I'm talking about.
Called the American Trilogy, or no?
Yeah, it's some. Yes, and I think our people want me to have a pitchfork when I do my Raider stuff. They want me to poke people and be mean and angry. Now, Big D, I saw your post today. Was it 25 years ago to the day that the famous store party was, or roughly? I didn't know that. Need to know that. Gotta get some more water going. Yes, all right. What do you want to talk about today, everybody?
What's right?
We want to talk about the Cowboys. We got a good show lined up. Vinny Bonsignore at 12:30. Gary Lawless, the great hockey iconic analyst for Vegas Golden Knights. I haven't been playing well. Jeff Sherman, our golf guy, our golf odds guy from the Westgate. And that's it. Well, was this a promo of Harry Ruiz? I love it. Yeah. Colin Cowherd got smoked by Micah Parsons, I saw or heard. Man, I'm happy I'm not wrong a lot with my hot takes, man. I'm happy I'm okay.
A morning tailgate with Clay and our date mornings from 7 to 10.
Yep.
It's the JT the Brick Show.
We're going to have a lot of positive energy. The guys that love to compete and play with passion are going to have a chance at the place.
Your Silver and Black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Man, I'm loving it, man. They're making my job tremendously easy to be out here with these young, talented players, man. I think we have a really good team. I'm super excited. I'm already loving this fan base. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT with you, and we are rolling, and we are ready to roll live on YouTube. You can look right at us. We got some nice banners here in the studio. We are on X at JT the Brick, and we are also live on the flagship of the Silver and Black, Raider Nation Radio, where you can get the show in a couple of different ways. You can get it on the Raiders app, or you can get it on LV Sports Network, or you can find a way to get it any other way you'd like. There are so many ways you could get this show that I'd love you to give it a shot and get on in here and participate. We are a participation show. That's really what we are. We like to participate with listeners and callers, not trolls. We want the real people, the people who are not anonymous, the people who are real and are out there and we might see someday, we might bump into someday, and we could have a conversation with, but we don't. So I don't know what you're thinking about until you hear from, I say something, you react to it, you can get it going here. Tell me what you want. I have my Pete Carroll interview. It is up and running. I was telling Clay in the mini monologue, fans are upset with me because I asked the coach to evaluate the quarterback. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't say trade the quarterback or how come you're loyal to the guy. We ask the questions, they answer it. Where we ask every single question you can ask about every player I've interviewed or I've talked about with Pete Carroll. I really think everybody, from Caillou to Darian Porter to Devin White to Daniel Carlson to everybody else here. And that's the focus of the monologue as we open up the show, brought to you by Golden Entertainment, as they own the Strat. They own the Strat, along with Arizona Charlie's, the Laughlin Entertainment Center, all their great locations, and 70 PTs here in the Valley. PTs fuel the monologue, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7, midnight to 2. So here's what I got out of my conversation with Pete Carroll. This is what I conducted it, so I'll give you my opinion first, and then you'll hear the interview later, if not today, tomorrow, is that Pete Carroll wants to win every game, and Pete Carroll is loyal to his players. That's really the cliff notes of the interview from his perspective. Pete is competing. He's trying to win every game, and he's evaluating players every time they step in the building. But we knew that. The only thing that's different is he's not winning games at the rate he used to win them out in Seattle. And you could talk about a lot of different reasons why. Maybe he doesn't have the right quarterback. Maybe the plays aren't called correctly. I don't know. Maybe the defensive scheme is too soft with a zone defense, which isn't good enough. Injuries. You see that the Raiders' offensive line was at Allegiant yesterday. Bravo, handing out turkeys and meals. A great day yesterday for Colt Miller and the offensive linemen, dating back to when Donald Penn did it in Oakland. Well, Jackson Powers Johnson and Colt Miller are the two best offensive linemen, no debate, and they're not playing. They're not playing at all, and I think that's having an effect on the outcome of these games. They're not kicking it well. Normally, I always just lump A.J. Cole and Daniel Carlson together. I say we got really two good kickers, and I think Carlson's a good kicker, but he's missed a couple of kicks. He hasn't missed 6 kicks. He's missed a couple of kicks. But other guys are making 68-yard kicks to beat us. So when you miss a kick, it kind of hurts when a guy's making a 68-yarder. But I see a lot of missed kicks because I watch football over the weekend, every weekend, college and pros, and it's hard to make kicks. See, but we're getting spoiled with guys now making 60-yard kicks blindfolded. And Daniel Carlson's not that guy. So they brought in a practice squad kicker. Is it to put pressure on him to make him think? Daniel Carlson's a big boy. He knows he's not kicking well, and his job could be on the line if he has a bad kick again. I don't know. You bring in, you put more pressure on him. Is that going to help him? Maybe, maybe not. We'll find out. We'll find out. We got a game on Monday night. But overall, did anybody think that Pete Carroll, before he took the job, was not loyal to his players? Did anybody watch any of these 30 for 30s and these documentaries on Pete Carroll, who is really loyal to his players and wants his players to win? And he'll let his players figure it out, and they'll be loyal to him. So that's what's going on with Geno. I asked him to evaluate him after 9 games. He thinks he's cleaned up some things, and other things, quite frankly, I don't think they've cleaned up. I think that Geno's having a bad year. I've said that 1,000 times, not 100 times. And I say it after every game, pretty much all of them except for the Patriot game and the fourth quarter of the Jacksonville game, that Geno's having his worst season as a starter. He is. Okay, we know that. Now it becomes, I don't know, I don't think you have to evaluate him anymore. I believe the only way that Geno Smith will remain the quarterback of the Raiders, just my opinion, not from anybody else's, is he has to play much better. If Geno plays around this level, he won't be here. He just won't. We all know that. Everybody knows that. If he plays dramatically better, back to Geno, 70%, 4,300 yards, Geno will probably be the quarterback here for a while, maybe. So he knows what's on the line. It's the same thing with Geno that's going on with Daniel Carlson. It's identical. If Daniel Carlson doesn't make kicks, he won't be there. He knows it. If Geno throws interceptions at an alarming rate, he won't be here. You got Tom Brady, Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll. They all know this. So I'm encouraged that Geno's going to play better. I've been waiting for him to play better for how long now? Months, plural? So I've seen some good throws. I know that Geno has no time in the pocket. I know Geno has a bad offensive line, not average. This is a bad offensive line. They've dropped into that category. I know that Geno's played most of the season without Brock. Most of the season without Brock. He lost his best receiver, all due respect to Trey Tucker. It was Jacoby Myers. He's gone. So you want to evaluate all this? You got an average to below average offensive line with the 2 best players out. Your best player on the team, on the entire team, is the tight end. He's missed most of the season. And then you got rid of the best wide receiver. What does everybody expect? Throw everybody out there who's never played and make Geno better? I mean, what do you expect? Here's what I expect. I expect Geno to play better under duress, and I expect Geno to play better as he's more desperate to keep his job. Now, I could be wrong there. I'm wrong 5 times a day before breakfast. I apologize to my wife 5 times a day, mostly before breakfast. I make a lot of mistakes in life. I can read football. I've been around football for over 50 years. I've worked for an NFL team for close to 30. I've talked to every single great Raider who's ever put on a uniform. Me. Nobody else, me. I know good football. I talk to Fred Biletnikoff every day. I don't need a juice box and a trophy for it. I know good football. Geno's not playing good football. But Geno has been a good football player, and Geno's been a good leader. That's not going to be taken away. As I've said long ago, and I think the best example that I've given, Clay, best example of all of this is Josh McDaniels. I told the Raiders when he started, you're not going to give him a chance, you Raider fans. You're not even going to welcome him. You're not even going to say, welcome, coach, we want you to win. You hated the guy the day he started. And I said, it doesn't matter. I mean, I hope he wins. I want him to win. I got to interview him every week. And I said, if he's not winning, he's going to be gone. Did I not say that? Yeah, he's gone. His legacy is complete as one of the greatest play callers of all time. And now, how's he doing as a play caller? Really great. Not good, great. So he is who he is. He wasn't a good ball coach as a head coach. He could have been one. I mean, maybe if he had better players, but I don't think he was a great head coach. I don't think that Josh McDaniels had the ability to communicate as the head coach, not the coordinator as well as he's done as a coordinator. Pete Carroll has won 2 national championships and a Super Bowl. He didn't forget, Clay, how to coach.
No.
The principles behind his theory of coaching remain the same and are supposed to be better because he's older with the knowledge. And I'm dealing with fans who think the league has passed him by. The league doesn't pass you by when you're being considered for the Hall of Fame. You're still right there in the fight.
And, he inherited a team that was 4 wins and was bereft of talent. And they weren't able to make the gains in the offseason to go and make big strides in the personnel the way they needed to. So at the same time, he has to be kind of graded in the fact that he still doesn't have the horses he needs to get through the prairie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm dealing with some real knuckleheads that think if you take over someone's team, you're supposed to be better. If you take over someone's team and you're worse than the guy you took over for. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. You play a football game on Sunday, Thursday, Monday night, you win or lose. Doesn't mean you're really bad unless you're really bad. Like Brian Daboll got fired this week because he's really bad at being a head coach with the clock. I mean, I pointed that out. He's really bad. Mike McDaniel just beat Buffalo. Do you think that Mike McDaniel's worse of a coach than he was 6 months ago? He's the same guy. He's got injuries. He's got players. He didn't forget how to coach. Same thing with Josh McDaniels. He failed as the Broncos head coach. They gave him a chance with the Raiders. It didn't work out. Mark got rid of him pretty quick. In the big picture, Mark got rid of him pretty quick. Pete Carroll has a lot more gravitas as a head coach than Rich Bisaccia, Antonio Pierce, and Josh McDaniels combined. He has more gravitas than those guys because he's Pete bleeping Carroll. And I'm just telling Raider fans, put some respect on his name. You don't have to agree with him. I asked him to evaluate the quarterback. He loves him like a human being, like a member of his family. He knows he's not playing well. He thinks he's getting a little bit better than he was early in the year when they were turning it over a lot. And then at the end of the year, John Spytek, Tom Brady, and Pete Carroll are going to make a decision on Geno Smith. It's not going to be about money. Mark's not about the money. Mark's giving everybody the money to fix this. If they don't think he's the quarterback, he won't be here. Now, a big off-season topic or down the road would be, what does Geno have to do to keep his job? And the problem is, I am swimming in muddy waters with fans who are saying there's no way he can keep his job, get rid of him. So I'm dealing with those people. So I have to I don't silence anybody, but I have to ignore them because we have games coming up here and some of the fans don't want to play the games. We have some knucklehead fans in this community that want to stop playing football games. They want to go to the Raider tailgate. They want to go to the Raider bar and walk into the bar saying, I'm Raider Rick, but they don't want to play the games. They don't want to play games. They just want to go to next year. We can't go to next year. We have shows 5 days a week, regular season, off season. Toughest time for me is when the playoffs begin, and I have to tell Raider fans, bye-bye. Playoffs are starting. I'm going all Baltimore, Buffalo, Seattle, Green Bay. I'm doing a talk show. Sorry, can't come in here for 2 hours a day and talk Raider football in February. It's not happening. I go Golden Knights, I go NBA, I go other topics because that's what I get paid to do. But we're at a point now where the evaluation talk, not excuses, the evaluation talk is real. Here's why it's real. The evaluation should be over with the quarterback. For most cases, unless the quarterback plays superbly the rest of the way. Is he capable of doing it with the talent he has around him? It looks like he's going to have a really tough time doing that because he just doesn't have Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers, Mike Mayer, Colton Miller. He doesn't have it. Let's be honest with Geno. He doesn't have it. So how is Geno going to play at a much, much higher level? I don't know. But he claims he can do it. He's posted on Instagram all these messages, and he's telling everybody he's going to do it. So let's see if he can do it, because nothing's going to change with Pete Carroll and Geno. They came together. They joined together. There is half the season left. I had some knucklehead tell me, well, what do we care? It's half. Well, I'm just telling you where the calendar is. If you can't read a calendar and you can't add, I can't help you. If you can read and write and add, you should listen to the show and call in or comment. We got a lot of games left. We played 9 games, right? Played 9 games or 17. Do the math. A little over half the season is over. Half the season needs to be played. And we don't do zero. We do zero tanking talk because it makes you look stupid when you talk tanking. You are the dumbest of the dumbest fans, not Raider fans. I'm talking football fans when you talk tanking. You just sound stupid. You sound ignorant. You're the worst people to be around when you talk tanking because everybody in the room who's sharp, and I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. Vinny's coming up. And other people are just looking around going, get away from us. We don't want to have a beer with you. We don't want to be near you. If you're coming up to us and we have Raider gear on and you want to lose, get out of our life, and we have buttons to get you out of our lives. We're here to win every game. We're here to win every game. So you want to tank, go find other shows. There are shows flourishing in sports now that are negative, negligent, and all are about losing and all that, because when you're talking down about something you love so badly, it could be politics, religion, sports. When you're that negative, you bring along a lot of negative people with you, which is okay if you're only going to be part of the negativity for like 20 minutes a day. But if you have a life like I have and friends like you have, and you don't want negative people around you all the time. So you have a decision on what you want to do with the Cowboys here, you know? And for those who say, JT, I can't believe you rip on Raider fans upset that the team is losing. I'm not doing that at all. I'm ripping on the ignorant fans who don't understand basic sports. They're not Raider fans. They're everybody. They're everybody. Oklahoma City Thunder fans don't go through this now. They're winning. Brooklyn Net fans are going through this. Every day I turn on New York sports radio for a good 10 or 15 minutes every day. You think I'm tough? You think I'm tough? Turn on New York sports radio clickbait for 2 hours a day and tell me what you see. Everybody's screaming and yelling. But you notice on all those shows, the coach doesn't come in and sit down with the host? They don't. So it's easy to be a radio host and scream at the coach when the coach isn't coming in. So you can do that. You can have Twitter muscles with that. What we're trying to do is get to the end of the season with something positive to build on next year. So when I talked to Coach about Caillou yesterday, really, he spent a couple of minutes on Caillou and Caillou Blue Kelly and how good of a player he's turning out to be. That's a Pete Carroll move. Pete Carroll liked him, brought him in. You know, I watched Caillou play in high school. I told him how surreal it is that I watched Caillou play, played on the same team as my son, and now he's playing in the NFL and he's picking off 2 at Mile High. I wanted to talk about that with Pete, and Pete was really happy that he had a player that he could talk about that way. So that's something maybe that they can build on, right? We're going to see Caleb Rogers play. I don't know if he can play. He was drafted by John Spytek to play a lot. Well, he's going to get his chance this week against Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark. Woo! Oh, wow. How would you like to be studying for a test? You want an analogy? How would you like to be studying for an English test, and the night before they say, we're going to give you the test in Latin? And you're like, wait, I've studied 4 days for this, and now it's in Latin. Good luck studying for Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark at nose tackle, defensive tackle in your first ever start, if you start. Good luck with that. But maybe they play great. We have something to talk about on Tuesday after the game. So there's a lot of anxiety around the fans. You could tell I'm worked up today because I think we did a really nice job with the coach yesterday, and people are just yelling at me because I didn't say, hey, coach, really, can you resign, please? Can you just leave right now? Can you give me your key card and leave? Like, I got idiots who want that to happen. I have the utmost respect for this coach. He is a legend, an absolute legendary coach and human being. And he's your coach. He's your coach. I'm not saying you got to like the results, but you better put some respect on his name as he's the head coach. Okay? That's fair. In my world, at least, you do whatever you want in your world. I think Pete Carroll deserves a lot of respect. And, you know, the golden rule in life, Warren Buffett put out a beautiful statement, his last ever written letter to his shareholders at Berkshire Hathaway. And he just talked about being a better person. And he ended it by saying, basically, I'm paraphrasing, the cleaning lady who works the overnight shift is just as important as the CEO. It was beautifully written, right? It was about grace and dignity and giving everybody a chance and treating everybody nicely. But with the advent of social media and the growth of sports radio, and then the infiltration of sports radio with screamers, and I scream a lot, but I'm talking about the real screamers and the clickbait guys and the assassins who just try to stir the pot. Man, we're living in a world and society right now that is very disturbing. We're living in 2025 politically, with religion debate, sports debate, I'll throw sports in, that is so absolutely out of control because no one's accountable. You know, early this week, I talked about these gambling scandals in baseball and basketball. One of the things that's happened recently in sports radio is we've allowed gambling radio to come in. So sports radio used to just be guys like me, Dan Patrick, Colin, go down the road, Mike and the Mad Dog, whoever it is, Q Myers, Steve Cofield. We just did a bunch of sports. Then we let the gambling world come in, who've never done radio. They've never bet money and they don't know how to win gambling. And we let them infiltrate it and then put pressure on the players. A lot of pressure goes on the players. And now the players are getting threatened online. And you know about this, Clay. The players are getting threatened after a game for dropping a ball or not having a fantasy score. And they're getting threatened where NFL and MLB security and the FBI have to track down these degenerates who are threatening the players. That didn't happen when me and you started at Sports Fan Radio.
If it did, it was never on a wide scale. It was always something small or local. Now it seems to be like a national rage.
National rage. Everybody's raging. Everybody's raging right now. And there's several NFL teams that are dealing with rage with their head coach. That's why we have Black Monday, and it's always six. It's usually 6 or 7. 6 or 7 coaches get fired. We've had a lot of coaches get let go around here because we're trying to get it right. We're just trying to get it right around here. The owner, Mark's trying to get it right. He's just trying to put the puzzle. It's a puzzle. I'm going to move this GM over here. I'm going to fire the coach. I'm going to bring in this younger GM. I'm going to bring in this receiver. It's a puzzle. It's not working. So you dump the puzzle out, and the next year you try to make a new puzzle. But we have some really stable men and women in the organization now who are very stable with what they want to do and how they want to do it. But it's just not happening. I watch the stock market every day, and some of the best companies in the world get their faces ripped off every day in the market. I'm like, whoa, down 11%? That's a good company. Well, it didn't hit expectations. Oh, you hear what I said? In the earnings call, they didn't hit expectations. but they still did great on the earnings call, but they missed expectations and the stock dumps. Oh, is the CEO and the CFO at fault? Did they do anything wrong? No, they're running the company just the way they ran it 6 months ago, 2 years ago, same way. But they get pushed out. They get pushed out. So if you don't do your job in the NFL, you're gone. That's it. Players, coaches, everyone, you're gone. And then new people come in and they buy the houses of the old coaches. They do. They rent the houses from the old coaches. Been great to live here in Vegas and be a coach. If you just bought a house the day you got hired, it like tripled. Pretty much every coach that lived here. So you don't see a lot of people who lost their job here freaking out because their homes tripled. Quarterbacks' homes have tripled in value in Vegas. But you got to adapt. You got to adapt when you're not winning. And from talking to Coach yesterday, and he was limited in time because he had to get to practice, so we had about 10 minutes with him. I could tell that he was genuinely sincere. He's always sincere about what he saw in Denver. He saw a fight like you see a lot. I watch a lot of war movies and documentaries, and he saw something in the battle. It's the war, but it's the Battle of Denver. And even though at the end they lost, he saw something in the battle that made him feel good about his troops. You don't want to hear that? You don't think that's important? Or you just want to say, you lost, you suck, let's go to Dallas? No, he's giving you information that he saw something in the game that could be encouraging going forward. I need more of that. I want to hear from the guy who's running the team that he sees something happen at practice, meetings, and in the games, even if the game doesn't go that way. Even if the game doesn't go that way, that he can tell us that they're going in the right direction. And he really seemed to say that in the last game. So who knows? Will it roll over and help out with Dallas or not? I don't know. I don't know who's going to win the games. But I do know that Pete Carroll is in love with the players on this team from a coaching perspective. He will go to battle with all of them. He doesn't have the team that he needs to win. He just doesn't. He doesn't have the players yet. He and John Spidek, who's ever going to be here, is going to figure that out. And then hopefully they put a better product out next year. But there's a lot of football left. All right, Vinny Bonsignore is going to join us in a few minutes. Gary Lawless is going to join us talking about the Vegas Golden Knights. Ooh, they've lost to some good teams lately. And did you see UNLV basketball last night? Losing to Montana? Why would a kid go to college in Montana when they can go to school in Las Vegas and go to the Fontainebleau and Resorts World and go to the Sphere? I've never understood why a kid goes to Laramie, Wyoming, or Boise. I like Boise. But do we got to do a better job convincing people how great Vegas is? Should I be hired on the recruiting trail for UNLV in the private jet? Should they add a seat for JT just to come to the recruiting meetings and tell these 19, 20-year-olds what I do in Vegas and why it would be better than living, Clay, in Montana?
Dare to be Missoula, Montana. Dare to be Tennessee, Chattanooga, right? Like, what? This is a global city. This is something that very few, any program can really have. And it has a desire and support from the community that wants to win, but yet it's still never enough. And with everything, as far as NIL money is concerned, being someone on a similar playing field, then why not go to a place that gives you the most exposure like Las Vegas?
Yeah, I want UNLV to win. I'm going to the game on Saturday. Can't wait to go to UNLV football on Saturday. All right. So we're brought to you by Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men. I've been telling you about this group. They're unbelievable. Sahara. And come right up Sahara to my house in Summerlin. Come up Sahara and you'll see it. And you'll love it. And Tomorrow Aesthetics, TMRW, it's a men's spa. And they have a whole bunch of great treatments. And they have a lot of deals that are out there right now. And these deals are really special to our audience here at Raider Nation Radio. So if you've never been to a men's spa and you want to get a facial or you want to have weight loss, you want to explore that, you want to explore anything that's going to make you feel a little bit healthier, every Wednesday and Thursday, they're starting with new deals. Their Black Friday special is underway. Black Friday starts early. And all of the deals that they have every Wednesday and Thursday this month has got you covered. And these are some pretty good deals overall if you want to jump in. So I would just say go there, try it. Talk to everybody who's there. If it fits you, you like it, you think you're going to have fun going there, it's going to relax you. There could be anything from Botox, hair restoration, hydrofacial. You can microdose GLP, microneedling, even if you need eye filler. If you think that's something you need, it's Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men. They've been great to us. Proud partner of the show. Coming up next, Vinny Bonsignor. Saw Vinny in the parking lot yesterday. Vinny had some good information for this show. How's that for a tease? Vinny will join us next. And we got open lines if you want to get through. 702-365-9200. Live from Lotus Broadcast ship of the Silver and Black. Please hit the like button and subscribe, please. We got to get to 8,000 this week, Big D. Got to get to 8,000 followers, and I'm pretty sure we'll fast forward to 10, and then 10 will get us to 20. That's the plan. My son's got this all figured out.
On Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m.
Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly. All right, let's jump in the chat. Everybody being good in the chat, hammer the like button. Thank you. Hit like.
Style logger, delivering a crisp.
Oh, you got that file I sent you on those other reads?
Yeah, print them out for you. They're in the
No, the audio file I sent you on the hurricanes and all that.
from a couple weeks ago, like 10 days ago.
No, like 2 days ago.
Ooh, no, let me check.
Yeah.
It's brought to you by Cox.
If not, hopefully they're not gone because I sometimes erase them, but I did them. I did a whole file for you.
Oh shit.
Provider of Allegiant
I
Stadium.
didn't see them, but that doesn't mean much there.
Allegiant Stadium. That awaiting in long lines and ride it, and you'll be at the Torch. Yeah, who's going to come see us at the Torch? 50% off. That's mride.com, promo code BRICK. MRide. Gotta get MRide up there for Teo. So I gave you Tomorrow Aesthetics. I'll probably do an MRide.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we still have 19 partners on this show and another big one brewing. Big. So I'm trying to get all this in, man. We don't have a lot of time to get all this in.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry, I did not see it, and I don't have it in my email inbox.
Okay. It's on me. I'll do that tonight.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I'll give you a Canes right now.
Okay. All right.
Cents per day. $1,000.
All right. So Vinny, and then we'll do Jeff Sherman.
Cool.
I want to be out of Vinny by 42, 43.
Okay.
Damn.
Beat Dallas. Can you imagine claiming you're a Raider fan and you want to lose to Dallas? That's what I'm dealing with now. I'm dealing with people that want to lose to the Cowboys because they think they're going to get a better pick. They think that the fourth pick is going to be better than the sixth pick. It's like they fucking know. Like they think they know the fourth pick is going to be better than the sixth pick. Like they know. That's what I'm dealing with now. People thinking that something's going to happen that probably won't happen.
And impressive.
How close were the Raiders to trading Crosby?
Hey, Vinny. Hey,
It's my guy. I don't think they were close. They didn't take any offers, Mikey.
Okay, so we come back in less than a minute.
Hey, babe, where are you going?
Fantastic indoor swap meet.
The swap meet. I love
Really?
fantastic. Can I come along?
Sure.
I got my light. Let me put my ring light here. Hold on. Ring light.
Fun shopping online.
Okay.
Yes.
Spend the afternoon. It's just over on Decatur and Okie.
You know, Fantastic's open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Hey, how was your night last night? Did you got Chickies and Pete's Thursday?
Yeah.
Like they say.
Jets Patriots on Thursday. They're gonna line up for that one.
Get ready for the house.
Jets Patriots on Thursday.
To enter to win tickets to experience a Vegas Golden Knights game in the comfort of our
Going back to the Powers pass
entry.
catch.
Why does my microphone mute for no reason? Don't get that still. All right.
JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Local 872, your workforce solution.
Wheeler steps up in the pocket, fires from Powers, streaking sideline, has the 50 in a center step, and pushed out of bounds. Inside the Denver 40 by the rookie Barron. There's your catch and run. It goes on a massive play of 31 yards.
Every time we play a highlight of Brock Bowers, we're showing you success. Get the ball back to him. We're brought to you by Raising Cane's. I'll be at the UNLV game on Saturday, and there'll be tailgaters throughout Allegiant Stadium, and most of them all will be serving Raising Cane's chicken fingers. Proud partner of our show and proud partner of the Rebels. Vinny Bonsignor joins us at this time every week, and Vinny, I've been going through an interesting time, and you do too. We're trying to bring information to the audience, and the audience is kind of getting really pissed off by the record at this point in time. And when you try to tell them about encouraging things that are going to happen next, what are you telling them? What's encouraging coming off that loss in the last two heading into the Dallas game?
Well, I'm not so sure that it's encouraging, but it's needed, and it's part of the process, and that's, getting a handle on some of these younger players, some of the rookies. And talking about Zach Badge and Vontae Thornton and Caleb Rogers, and Darian Porter and Ashton Genty. I think we have a pretty good idea of what he's all about. These are all important components moving forward, and it might not be enjoyable. It might not be encouraging necessarily. It's not going to make up for where they are right now in the standings. But if you're talking about the bigger picture of things, and maybe the reality check that the Raiders got, or maybe this information, the first 9 games of the season might have substantiated what they were thinking this might be and how long this might take. It's all valuable information moving forward. It's all about making the right decisions now, and that started during the offseason. It started during the draft. It'll continue into next offseason and next offseason's draft. This is going to take a couple of years. Patience is required. And whether that's encouraging to anyone, I'm not telling you to be encouraged or anything along those lines, but this is the reality of the situation.
Vinny Bonsignor is our guest. So the Raiders, we were both in the building yesterday. They bring in a kicker, obviously, for competition. There's nothing wrong with that. In the old days, you just cut the kicker. The kicker, if you don't believe in the kicker, you cut him. You bring in someone. He doesn't compete. He's going to be the kicker. Daniel Carlson gets that respect to figure it out. And I think Daniel will. He's been a hell of a kicker the last couple of years here, and he doesn't get a lot of opportunities to kick. That's what's driving me nuts, is the fact that this team is starting off in positive position when it comes to being on the right side of the field, and they can't even attempt the field goal. I would like to see how Carlson would do if he could attempt 3 or 4 a game, 50 or more, but we're not even seeing that much.
Yeah, and that's a double-edged sword. You don't want to kick field goals. To be honest with you, you want to dive in and protect. That's the biggest problem of all. But what's glaring about with Daniel part of this year is that it was a Monday to a Thursday night where he missed an extra point. What turned out to be a very point, and then he missed the field goal. Turned out to be a very and that's just kind of the bottom line. And it's automatic. A 48-yard field goal for him should be automatic. And that was on top of some issues with placing the ball where it needed to be placed on kickoff to give to not give opposing teams short fields to work with. He did that a couple of times. So it's not just the field goals or the extra points. It's other areas that need to get cleaned up, and the Raiders bring in Greg Joseph to try to send a message, I guess, and or have an available option to Daniel not get things straightened out. But this is another potentially long-range issue. Daniel Carlson is in the last year of his contract, and there hasn't been any movement on a new contract. And so it's going to be another box that the Raiders need to check off in the offseason.
Vinny Bonsignore's our guest. So I asked Coach to evaluate Gino. He gave me an evaluation. He thinks they're cleaning up some of the stuff there. But overall, it's not been enough to win games. But before you came on, I said no Colt Miller and Jackson Powers Johnson. Didn't have Brock Bowers for most of the year. They trade away Jacoby Myers. He doesn't have a great team to work with. And in some positions, I think below average to average at best. So the evaluation of Gino is very interesting to me because he's got to do things on his own without the best help he's ever had in his career. And I think that's a fair evaluation, even though he doesn't have a really good team or the best of the best players like Pro Bowlers surrounding him. He's still got to make plays. That's how you get evaluated. Not everybody plays on a Philadelphia roster or has a roster like Baltimore or Buffalo. So he's going to have to prove with a subpar group in regards to non-Pro Bowlers that he's got to play better with these remaining games. How do you see it?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, Geno Smith was brought in to help lift the floor of the Raiders. We're 9 games into the season, and that hasn't happened. And I guess if you had a pizza pie, you know what slice or how many slices go to Gino in terms of the blame for that floor not being lifted. There are some extenuating circumstances. You just laid them out. There's been injuries. Brock Bowers has only been healthy for 3 games this season. They look pretty good in the 2 games that he won in 2 of those games, 2 of those 3 games. Obviously, that was just on Thursday. You've got 2 youngsters at wide receiver now that you're having to expedite their development. And that's another box that I'm curious how important is that box going to be in this offseason if Zach Besh and Dante Thornton can't prove over the next 8 games that they're real viable options at wide receiver. And if they don't, then that's another issue that the Raiders face, because I do think they need, when you're talking about a high level complementary number 2 option to Brock Bowers or a co-number 1, you look around the great teams in the NFL, there's multiple high end options in the pass game. And right now it's Brock Bowers and who else? Right now, I mean, Dante Thornton and Jack Bench are extremely young. And so you can't necessarily expect them to come in and be high level, option 1B or option 2. Can they show over the next 8 games that they can be that's what their future may hold? And we're going to find out. Because if not, then that's another position that they're going to have to address in the offseason.
Vinny, one more just on the game against Dallas. When I did the pregame show last week when they were in Denver, and I told Eric Allen, the only thing that's going to make my head pop is if Brock Bowers doesn't get targets. And he had 13 in the game before with 12 catches, 3 touchdowns for a tight end, the most since Todd Christensen. And he didn't get a bleeping target in the second half. Let that sink in, because it hasn't left me since. The only thing that will make me go nuts in this game is if they try to run it up the middle to Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark. Other than maybe one throwaway play in the first quarter, everything's got to be stretched on the outside. Everything's got to be stretched to the left side. Everything's got to be a screen to this kid so he doesn't get murdered running it up the middle against 2 animals who are the best at their position. They're not going to win that battle. They might be competitive in the battle, but I'm concerned about Ashton Genty if they don't set him up to succeed against the Dallas Cowboys at home.
Yeah, I agree. You need to find more creative ways to get him the ball in more ways that aren't just running into a brick wall.
Yes.
That's probably not going to get it done, especially down Jackson Powers Johnson and maybe Dylan Parham. That's just, that's just going against the grain for the sake of going against the grain. But I would also say, going back to Brock Bowers, all the more reason, if the defense is going to take him out, which the Denver Broncos did a really good job of doing that, all the more reason why you need to target then a Jack Besh 7 or 8 times in that game. Quite honestly, rather than a Tyler Lockett. I get it. Tyler Lockett is a kind of safety net for Geno Smith, but Tyler Lockett doesn't really offer much beyond this season, if anything. So you have to. It's time to start seeing what you have in a Zach Betts and a Dante Thornton, and that requires being intentional about getting them the ball or targeting them, especially when the opposing. It's exact reason why you need to see, because moving forward, every game that Brock Bowers goes into, he's going to get that kind of treatment defensively. Why wouldn't you if you're a defense? And why wouldn't you, especially if nobody else, alongside him can show that they're a viable option? And how do you learn that? The way you learn that is by targeting them and getting the ball and opportunities. So I'm with you on the Ashton Dungey thing, but I'm even more adamant that if Dallas tries to take Brock Bowers out of the game, which they will, and it's pretty obvious and blatant that you're throwing into danger, you're forcing the issue. Where's Zach Betts and where's Dante Thornton in terms of being the alternate coaching guy?
Couldn't agree with you anymore. That's fantastic. That's why we're thrilled to have you on. Tell us about your proud partners on the way out.
Yep, absolutely. Look, if you need a little bit of extra money, absolutely. I'm sorry, you just lost my train of thought.
Yeah, okay.
But all our down back, I love Sheila. All of them great. All of them.
Thank you, Vinny. I'll see you out the game. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. There he is, Vinny Bonsignore. Good to have him on there. I love what he said there at the end about you got to force the ball to Jack Bech and Dante Thornton. There is no circumstance, Clay Baker, where you could say that you couldn't get the ball to Jack Bech because what? You think a team's going to double team Jack Bech?
No.
So you're going to get him the ball, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's great at blocking and going downfield, but you got to start featuring him.
Yeah.
As a number 58th pick in the draft, it's essential. And if they're going to have somebody over the top of Brock, that still leaves somebody else open along the sides, like Bech or even Trey Tucker.
Coming up next, Jeff Sherman will join us, and he's over at the Westgate. He is the vice president over there and does an unbelievable job with risk management. Hey, are you a Costco member? I've been a Costco member forever. Our friends at Findlay Volvo Las Vegas have a deal for Costco members, and it's called the Costco program, all model year 2026, XC60s, XC90s, and EX90s, $1,500 off for Gold Star and business members, $2,000 off for executive members. No idea about this until Mike told me. It's another reason why we want you to take a look at Findlay Volvo Las Vegas. They have unbelievable deals. To summarize, up to $2,000 on select Volvo models for Costco members. Sign me up for that. We're looking for deals for you, and we got deals on leases, or if you want to buy a brand new Volvo at Findlay Volvo Las Vegas, ask for Mike. Yeah, that was a good one. We'll use that.
This is the crew that John Spite chose to rock with, so
All right, we got Jeff coming up.
Get past the comprehensive HIV testing. Have one of those.
I'm not a big Starbucks guy, but I needed something with a tad bit of a kick. A Starbucks vanilla frappuccino. You know why I don't support expensive coffee? Because I'd rather invest it, even though I'm getting my head ripped off today in the stock market. I'd rather not pay for expensive coffees.
Taylor, the real estate guy. What's up, Las Vegas? Aaron Taylor, the real estate guy. And Jacob Taylor here. Right now, interest rates have created hesitation. But here's the reality. We all know they're coming down. That's right.
I'm all right, thanks. I'll put you on hold if this is a good
We
time.
give you every advantage possible.
Okay, we'll come back 30
will front the
seconds.
cost for repairs and even give you
Yeah,
cash.
it's hard for me to pay for something that I can pretty much get for free
Yeah.
for 5 minutes in the future.
We negotiate the best deals, and our specialized team knows the
Good way of looking at it.
inside and out. And if you need speed, we'll even buy distressed homes for cash in 24 hours. No gimmicks, just solutions built to help you move decisively.
I'd like to see Genty get 140 yards, man. I don't think 140 yards is a big deal, but Genty can't get to the line of scrimmage. When he does, he plays great. I mean, does anybody have a criticism of Genty when he has blockers? I haven't heard one.
JT's Book Show. Brought to you by Comisario Tequila.
The official tequila of the JT the Brick Show.
Nix in the backfield on 2nd and 15. Back to throw. Wilson giving pressure off the edge. Nix lobbing deep downfield into double coverage. Picked off at the Raiders 15. Caillou Blue Kelly is off the turf and he's on his feet to the 30. Blue Kelly across the 35 and he's spun down by Bryant. Into double coverage. He's got the pick and a 22-yard return.
Caillou from Bishop Gorman. Let's quickly get to Jeff Sherman, VP of Risk Management over at the Westgate, the best in the business, one of the sharpest guys I know. Jeff, I want to jump in. Super Bowl odds. I think the Ravens are going to win 6 in a row, or 6 out of 7, or 7 out of 8 here. I think the Ravens are about to go on a run. How does that change their Super Bowl odds?
They're currently down to 14-1, and they reached a height of 20-1 when they were only sitting on 1 win. So we didn't overreact too much looking at their schedule ahead when they got healthy. So 20-1 was the highest, currently 14-1.
Buffalo, my Super Bowl pick to win it all. Where do they stand now? Is there value coming in late on the Buffalo Bills?
Well, first time that they've reached double digits, sitting at 10-1. You know, they'd always been about 6-7-1 early in the season, but after that poor performance, we're looking to sell some Bills tickets right now.
Okay, and was there sharp money early in the season coming in on Indianapolis? Did anybody see this coming from Indianapolis from a liability perspective with Daniel Jones? I can't imagine preseason a lot of people were booking Super Bowl bets for the Colts.
We didn't. We're in very good shape on them. You know, they started at 100-1. And now they're currently down to 12-1, right in the mix with the other teams.
100-1 down to 12-1. And what about Denver? Because I watched Denver win so sloppily, and Bo Nix disappear until the fourth quarter of that. But they're stockpiling a lot of wins. They could be playing for the division title and a home seed.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're sitting at 14-1 after opening 40-1 earlier in the season. And, you know, I don't think in relation to the other teams that we just mentioned, they should be that short. They've been doing it, in my opinion, with smoke and mirrors coming away with these wins. 14-1 seems a bit short. You can get New England at 18-1, and they opened 80-1.
Jeff Sherman, VP of Risk Management over at the Westgate, all week long on SiriusXM when I've been taking calls from Steeler fans and Packer fans. They're telling me about their coaches on the hot seat. And I'm like, wait a second. Mike Tomlin, all he does is have winning seasons. And Matt LaFleur has a really big-time winning percentage as a head coach in this league. Anything significantly changed when it comes to the Steelers, and especially what we're seeing with Green Bay? That was my pick to win the NFC.
Yeah, Green Bay sitting at 14-1. Steelers at 40-1. There hasn't been too much fluctuation on those teams. But just what you mentioned, the expectations are so high for them. And that's why you hear that noise.
Yeah, I want to ask you about also what you're seeing. The Dallas Mavericks fired their GM, and they're in the tank here, and Anthony Davis might be on the trade block. And I'm watching the Lakers. The Lakers look pretty good without LeBron, and my Knicks are undefeated at home. Any big news to talk about NBA future odds? Because there's not a lot of interest in this NBA Cup.
Well, the big news, Oklahoma City's odds keep dropping short of 2-1. They keep winning without their all-star Jalen Williams. So I'm at 7-4. The Knicks were 12-1, but like you said, performing well at home. They're down to 10-1. Lakers holding steady at 14-1. Mavericks, I bumped them up to triple digits now, 100-1, and it feels like I'm missing a zero there.
And I have Gary Lawless coming up from the Golden Knights. With the struggle that VGK's found early here and the competition level just in the conference, let alone the division, how are their Stanley Cup odds changed?
They're sitting at 7-1. They were as low as 6-1, but average about 8. So we raised them up a little bit. But the one thing that we want to not do is overreact to the injuries, missing Mark Stone, William Karlsson. We always attract Golden Knights money. So sitting at 7-1, the one move has been Colorado down to 9-2. That's the first time a team has been less than 5-1.
I'm sure you've been on shows and have been asked about this latest baseball scandal and how I read the line that said various sports books have come together to put a $200 limit on the ability to bet, let alone to put in a prop bet, a ball and a strike. I personally believe it shouldn't be allowed, but I'm not a casino bookmaker where you want that business if people are going to bet it. What is your overall view of what happened with the Cleveland Guardians and how Major League Baseball is reacting or not?
Yeah, that's micro wagering on pitch by pitch. That's something that we've never offered locally or when we were nationally. We do player props, but it's not like that, not in-game pitch by pitch. And even when we take player props before the game, our limit is $500, not something excessive where if you saw somebody come to the window asking for 10 or 20,000, that's a red flag in itself. So just experience dealing with these player props. We keep it manageable, manage the liabilities, and can tell for detections like that.
Does the common gambler, the public, your customers, some of them love the prop bet and they love that type of bet when it comes to baseball?
Well, they like the will a player hit a home run?
Right, yeah.
A popular one where we're offering, Ohtani hit a home run at 7-4, things like that. Mm-hmm. Something that's simple. So, like I mentioned, we don't do in-game player props, just pre-game ones. And the simpler, the better for the customer.
Isn't that the answer to this as we're about to say goodbye, that player props before the game and not in-game make a lot of sense? I know that, again, bookmakers will do whatever makes sense to the bottom line, but I've always thought with baseball, bet the total, bet the game in general. But once you start getting into player props in-game, and then the players are out there, and it's just hard to do, but I can understand why some people don't want to get rid of it, and they want to book those bets. I just think the Major League Baseball commissioner, Rob Manfred's got to be a little bit firm on this.
Well, that's just it. You're getting into such an area that's excessive, and these larger companies are looking for so much content that's where they've ended up. And like I mentioned, that's not a practice that we've ever done or are looking to do.
It's the best sports book in the world, the sharpest one, the best lines. Their customers are the most satisfied over at the Westgate. Jeff Sherman, as always, thank you. I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Okay, thanks, JT.
Yeah, Jeff Sherman's really good. We have one of the sharpest guys in all of sports gambling on this show, just to tell you about certain things that are happening, how the lines are moving, how people are betting, what we're seeing with these prop bets overall. And Clay, I know you spent a lot of time over your career at the Westgate. They're second to none.
Because I trust guys like Jeff Sherman and Jay Kornegay because I know they are accountable.
They are trustworthy guys and great guys in town. Hockey talk. Yes, you better be a hockey fan. Then you're not a guy's guy if you don't like hockey. The great Gary Lawless will join us next. He's a wizard when it comes to doing what he does with hockey analysis and more on the flagship of the Silver and Black.
Sunday football from Madrid. See, you are correct as the Commanders take on the Dolphins.
Why don't we have him call us?
Sunday on Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m. Injured in a crash? Call Sam and Ash at 702-303-0333.
Plumbers, HVAC techs, contractors, and DIYers. McFadden-Dale Industrial Hardware has the tools, parts, and supplies to power your next project.
My wife is sitting in on the benefit call that's going on right now. Is the Lotus benefit call for our benefit package.
Casino partner.
Now, I have several jobs. I have 3 jobs, but I like my benefits here because they're pretty good. But get ready. I don't care where you work. I don't care where you work. I'm not getting political. people. It has nothing to do with a president or a congressman. Insurance rates are going up, and up. If you own real estate, your real estate insurance is going to go up. If you own a car, your car insurance is going to go up. And if you have medical benefits, they're going to go up. So with all of that happening, man, get ready. Get ready. I got the Rod Woodson podcast at 3:00 today with the greatest Rod Woodson. And then what do I have tonight? Tonight's Wednesday night. I might go to La Casa Cigars if Mike is here. Mike, I want to get a cigar tonight. I already interviewed Pete Carroll. That feels like I passed my SAT for the week.
Saltburn serves a fitting version, a Pilsner-style lager with a crisp, clean taste.
Imagine if every coffee, every tank of gas, every grocery run gave something back to you. With the Westar Flex Reward MasterCard, it does. Earn 1 point for every dollar you spend and redeem for cash back on travel.
Yes.
When you open your card, and 1,500 additional points with your first purchase. Everyday spending.
I got a great wife, man. She does a lot of the heavy lifting, man. She does a lot of the heavy lifting. Because I need someone who can do the heavy lifting, man.
One of the largest independent auto repair shops in the valley. With 23 bays, over 12,000 square feet, ZipZap is your one-stop shop. Offering 24-hour smart oil changes, detailing,
So LeBron James is participating in his first full practice today on a 5-on-5.
necessary 24-hour service. ZipZap Auto at Cheyenne and North Durango Drive and online at zipzapauto.com.
Okay, let's get Gary up here.
Did you call?
I'm going to have him. I'm having him call right now. Just send him the text. Anybody got any hockey questions out there? I haven't done a lot of hockey this year, man. When I do, it's Gary Lawless.
We're the Casper Bros, and we have your back. Brotherswin.com. This fall, get in the game and earn cash for betting sports with the William Hill Nevada Full Sports app on your phone or tablet. During William Hill's Fall Rewards, earn up to $500 cash back. Between now and December 31st, you'll be eligible for cash back points for every wager made, win or lose, on the William Hill Nevada Mobile Sports app. Earn even more cash back points for teasers and same-day parlay wagers made on the app. To enroll in Fall Rewards, opt in, and to see participating locations, visit williamhill.us. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Never miss another show. Stream us live or listen to past podcasts 24/7 at lbsportsnetwork.com. This is Raider Nation Radio 920 AM, KRLP Las Vegas. It's the JT the Brick Show.
But it just will win a bunch. And I don't care who hears that. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. He's legendary. His track record speaks for itself. He competes every single day, and that's what I love about him.
Your Silver and Black home to Sound Off for over 25 years.
I want to play harder than the guy lining up across, team lining up across from me. And if you're not, then I want to be the space. That's where the Raiders look at my guys, but excellence every day.
And now here's JT the Brick.
All right, JT, back with you as we continue on from the flagship of the Silver and Black and the partner right here with the Vegas Golden Knights here as we get rolling hour number 2 of the show. The great Gary Lawless was as good as any sports analyst I know, any sport. He's on the Vegas Golden Knight broadcast, and he's kind enough to join us. And Gary, as I begin, I'm not used to scrolling down in the standings to find my VGK. What's been happening as of late? Is there cause for any concern here with the roster and their performance as of late?
Hey, JT, how are you?
Good, my friend.
A lot of injuries right now, and that players will never use this as an excuse, but I'm observing, I'm watching. They've missed Mark Stone dramatically, and now William Karlsson has a lower body injury. Aiden Hill hasn't played in a while. These things have all taken their toll. And Vegas has played some real tight checking teams of late, which has made it hard for them to score, certainly to outscore their mistakes. So they got to find a way to be a little more careful in the neutral zone, play a little bit better, a little more responsible.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to find some depth scoring because this is not a team that should be down in the standings. And, it's early. They're only a few points out of first place. They get hot and climb right back up. The Ducks finally lost last night after winning 7 in a row. So big game against your Islanders tomorrow night.
Yeah,
I guess we've got to find their game.
Yeah.
The Islanders all of a sudden are relevant as a result of one young Matthew Stafford. So big game for both teams tomorrow night.
The level of teams are losing to good teams, and throughout the course of the year, especially early in the year, getting ties, getting to overtime and losing and getting that point, which can be a good thing than losing in regulation, getting that 1 point overall. But when you look at the strength of schedule compared to other teams, are they going through a gauntlet as they lose 3 in a row and coming off the road? Where do they stand in your mind?
You got to play your schedule. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's never been something that Vegas has really looked at and said, "Oh, that's a good team over there. It's okay to lose to them." I don't think that should be the mindset, and I don't think it is. They got to play who's in front of them, and the fact of the matter is they got to start to put some points on the board. They have lost more games than they've won. They got points in some of those losses, but the reality is they've lost more games than they've won, and that's not good enough in Vegas. And I would expect that Jack Eichel was. He was pretty short about it the other day. He said it's not good enough, and it hasn't been good enough for a while. And, they've had periods where they've looked really good. And, their third period against Florida, another example of it, they were excellent. They couldn't catch up. Having those 2-goal deficits that they've had in a couple of games recently has prevented them from getting the full 2 points or catching up and getting a point. Getting overtime, so they got to try and find a way. Bruce pushed back on this the other night as well. He said no one played 60 minutes. And the other team is trying to prevent you from doing that. That being said, they have to limit their lulls. Their lulls have been too big right now.
Gary Lawless joins us. So tell me about the power play, as it's been a struggle here since Stone went out. Did he actually mean that much? Can anyone fill that role now? Or is it glaring like they have to shake up the power play? What are you seeing with the power play, which should be a strength on this team?
Well, they do miss him, obviously. Listen, Bruce is really good at this. So it's kind of stupid of me to, I'm not guessing him, but I would tell you what I would do. I would make some changes, and I would go to a little bit more balance. Right now, they're leaving the first unit out there for a minute and a half. Letting them try to figure it out hasn't worked. I would separate Eichel and Marner on different units, and put the first unit out for 45 seconds, see what they can do, and if they can't, then bring the other unit out. The status quo is not working. Now they'll probably leave them the way they are, and they'll roll out and score 3 on the power play tomorrow night. Now that I've opened my fat mouth.
Gary Lawless joins us. Just a quick update on goaltending overall, the depth of the position, and what they're getting out of their starter.
Well, they got a ton of depth, right? Aiden Hill is on the shelf, and Carter Hart's still not eligible, but he will be soon. And the 2 young guys, Schmidt and Lindbaum, they've been fine.
Okay,
goaltending isn't the reason they're losing. It's the work of the skaters right now. The goalies have been. The goaltending has been good enough to win. Carl Lindbaum, they haven't given him any run support when he's in. Kind of feel bad for him. And Schmidt has won a bunch of games. I think he's only got 2 losses against 6 wins. So he's been effective.
All right, so as we wrap this up, and I'm looking at Anaheim, which you told us about that streak they've been on, Colorado, Dallas, Winnipeg, L.A., Seattle. What are the maybe 1 or 2 teams that concern you the most, that could have the legs, the discipline, the coaching, the depth, and the stars that could be a real big problem for VGK down the road?
Colorado is the best opponent the Golden Knights have seen this year.
Okay.
And, they beat Edmonton 9-1 the other night. And the Ducks had won 7 in a row. They went into Colorado last night. Colorado beat them, going away. So that's the standard right now. Now, they're looking pretty healthy. If you had to list 4 forwards that you didn't want miss time for Vegas. Mark Stone and William Karlsson are in that list. Eichel and Hurdle are right in there as well, right? So big blows for the Golden Knights. And so you can't compare a team. You compare them in the moment, but we got a lot of time to go. Right now, it's Colorado that scares me. Although, Anaheim was excellent the other night. We'll see what these young guns look like after 70 games of an NHL schedule. And when teams are starting to see them and they're not sneaking up on anybody, they got a hell of a coach in Joel Quenneville. So, but the team that scares me the most out of that group is Colorado.
I was really hoping for our Canadian brothers to the north to win the World Series. Dodger fans are really cocky and really chippy right now. They think that they're my Yankees with their 9 rings to my 27, and I thought Toronto had them dead. They had them dead to rights multiple times, and I wanted to see Canada. What happened, Gary?
They lost that series.
They did.
Simple as that.
They did.
They lost that series. They had multiple opportunities to win. I think their manager outthought himself in a couple of situations.
Yeah.
Went to the they took the shed out too early. To me, they had multiple opportunities to catch the run, and they weren't able to do it. So I'll be honest with you. I salute the Dodgers.
Yeah.
They're excellent. They got the best player in the world, and Dave Roberts is a hell of a manager.
Let's plug Boomer Sports. I see you everywhere with it. What a great partnership for you.
Yeah, I've had Joe Asher, who is reputable and has creative and has fun a guy to be involved with. I've really enjoyed it. It's a new product. It's for Nevadans. All kinds of great bonuses and pricing. I got to go to Ellis Island Casino for the first time as a result of this. I love that place.
Yeah, it's a great place.
I like hanging out there. I like going down there. So Boomers. It's right now. If you sign up, they'll match your first deposit up to $250 with bonus bets and minus 105 point spread on all NFL regular season games. They've got a single game parlay special on right now. All kinds of cool stuff at Boomers. Go to the website, download the app, have a little bit of fun. Please bet responsibly.
I'll see you at the rink. Take care, my friend. Thank you.
Who are you cheering for tomorrow night?
I'm almost offended. You don't understand that I gave up the Islanders, gave them up because I cut the cord for my Vegas Golden Knights because here's why.
That you've been knighted. So
thank you.
Around tomorrow night. None of us wearing an Islanders t-shirt underneath your Golden Knights jersey and making a switch halfway through the game.
That's why I have not sounded the horn, because some people in the building still think I'm an Islander fan. I'll see you there. Take care, brother. There he is, Gary Lawless. It's really an interesting point. I want to have this conversation quickly, because Gary, I grew up an Islander fan, diehard. The Islanders won the Stanley Cup in my freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year in high school. 4 in a row. Let that sink in. I'm in high school, my whole high school. I went to Farmingdale High School in Long Island, New York. You might have heard the term Farmingdale. They just hosted the Ryder Cup. Okay, so that's where I'm from. The Islanders meant everything to me. When the Islanders won the Stanley Cup in high school, they would bring the Stanley Cup, and we had something called Assembly. Clay, you're old enough to remember Assembly.
Yeah, line up and get to the gym.
Yeah, it was like everybody in high school. They can't do that anymore in the modern day here. So we would get to the gym, and the Islanders would come to my high school, Mike Bossy, and bring the Stanley Cup. So when I moved to Vegas, and I've been here a long time, and the Vegas Golden Knights came, I said to myself, I'm going to be a Vegas Golden Knight fan. I don't have two teams. I'll get to the Raiders in a second. I don't have two teams ever in life. I'm not a two-team guy. That's not JT the Brick in the third person. So I cut the cord on the Islanders, and I said I'll be a Vegas Golden Knights fan. And it was easy to do because they were an expansion team. Follow me here. They didn't move from Atlanta. They didn't move from Quebec. They didn't move from Scottsdale. It never would have worked. So I said, I'm going to be a Vegas Golden Knight fan, and I'm all in. I'm a fan. And I happen to cover the team from a fun perspective. Now, when I got to the Raiders, I grew up a Giant fan. Who would hold that against me? I grew up in New York. I was a diehard Giant fan. Once I got hired by the Raiders and they were my employer, I had to start with the Raiders and I was all in. No one will ever tell you I'm not all in on the Raiders. People stop me every day, call me voice of Raider Nation. It's not because I'm faking it. So some people, I got introduced on a podcast the other day and the guy said, well, you're Giants. I said, no, they're not my Giants. No, they were my Giants, and then it was Raiders. So people ask me not often, who would I root for if the Raiders played the Giants in the Super Bowl? Are you out of your mind? I got an AFC championship ring. That should have been a Super Bowl ring. I root for the Raiders to win every game. I'm a Yankee fan. I'll never have a second team. And I'm a Knicks fan, and I'll never have a second team. Oh, but an asterisk. If we get an NBA team in Vegas, and they're an expansion team, brand new, never been born, you better believe I would consider leaving my Knicks, which I hope I don't have to. But if this NBA team comes from somewhere else, no. I'm not interested. I'll go to the games, but I'm not interested. So you just learned about my fandom. That's my fandom in a way. Like Harry Lawless, your Islanders.
Trying to check you.
Trying to check you at the door. Can you imagine I go to the game Thursday night and they unbutton my shirt and go, do you have an Islander? Imagine if I had an Islander necklace there. Like, I wear the cross, not the Islanders. So
basically you go up to the, and like, crank the siren and all of a sudden you bust out the Superman Islanders jersey. And that was a dynasty. Those 4 years, that was magic. In Nassau County Coliseum, there was nothing like it.
It was some of the greatest years of my life, was watching the Islanders win the Cup. And then one of the other things was 1980 Miracle on Ice. And one of the guys who were on that team, Ken Morrow, won the gold medal. Then he came to the Islanders as a rookie, and he won 4 cups in a row. No one's ever done that. Gordie Howe, Sidney Crosby. So he won the gold medal as a rookie, won 4 in a row. That'll never be achieved ever in any sport. And then when Mr. Foley, you know the story, he brought back the anniversary team from the Miracle on Ice to Vegas. The business deal went sideways, and Mr. Foley found out about it and took over and hosted the Miracle on Ice, the 1980 team. And after the game that night, someone whispered in my ear, get to the Park MGM Center bar. They're all coming. And I got to that bar with one of my buddies, couple buddies, and we drank deep into the night with the 1980 hockey team. And Kenny Morrow, I spent about an hour with, telling him about my youth, and he was really interested and engaged, and it was great. So that's part of my fandom. That's part of my fandom in my life. And we thank Gary Lawless for joining us. Took a nice little jab at me, my Islanders. I got a Dr. J jersey that's about to hang in my house. I'm a jersey collector, but I got a Julius Erving red, white, and blue. I think it's the nicest jersey I've ever seen. I love the Raider silver and black, but the nicest jersey that I've ever seen in my life is the Dr. J New York Nets jersey, not New Jersey. This is the New York Nets. You know what I'm talking about? Red, white, and blue. I got that jersey signed by Dr. J. And it is now going up in my house as one of my prize investments and jerseys that I've had. It's a good one. I'll take a picture of it. All right, we are open the rest of the show. I think I could have a guest coming in, but if not, I've been talking about the 3630 Foundation for my buddy Schmitty, former retired police officer who took his life. We're throwing a golf tournament for him on December 1st. So if you can be a part of it, 3630 Foundation on Facebook and Instagram. So I'm supposed to have Paul Masto either come in today or tomorrow. But I'm going to open up the phones the rest of the way. Clay didn't have them locked, but now they're open for the rest of the show. And I had Pete Carroll's interview. We have a little bit that we can play. Pete Carroll spoke today. I want to hear a little bit of that. And then we want your honest assessment. Because you know what the question I asked Pete Carroll? I looked him in the eyes because I'm a man. I looked him in the eyes and I said, Coach, Geno Smith has started 9 games for you. Evaluate the 9 games and what you expect going forward. What a great question that was. What else can you ask? Evaluate Geno. You're the coach. I'm not the coach. And he gave me a great answer. But Raider fans don't love it. They don't love it, okay? I can't help you with that. I don't know what you like or love. So I'm going to ask you right now. I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm about to say this. Raider Nation, open lines. Evaluate Geno Smith after 9 games. We'll be honest as crap. Try me. Let's see what you got. 702-365-9200. 702-365-9200. You evaluate Geno Smith after 9 games. Let's hear what you have to say if you were sitting in my seat. Everybody wants to sit in my seat. I need a lot of vacation this offseason. I'd like to put someone in my seat. Let's hear what you got and what your evaluation is. Look at Big D, one of my favorites. It's our 25-year anniversary of being in New Orleans with the Raiders. He gives Geno a D-. Come on, man. That's being hard on Geno. D-. Let's see. I'm being honest. I'm reading what they're saying. Come back on the other side. We're brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Whenever I go out, I go to the bar. Can I have a Tito's, please? What would you like, JT? A Tito's on the rock? Sure. You like a Tito's soda? That's my go-to. With a lime or a lemon, I'll take the lime. I'll have an espresso martini with Tito's. Whenever it's Tito's, it's my go-to. Tito's Handmade Vodka, proud partner of our show on Raider Nation Radio. That is it. That is it for today. Have a great day. If you want to listen to the show, you can listen. We'll see if we get any calls coming in. What do we got for Geno? We got a D. We got a C. We got to lead the league in interceptions, more interceptions, incomplete. Look at this. You're all the best. You're all bricklayers, man. You're all bricklayers.
Good.